Chris?
No, we're good. We're
Oh,
back, Mike.
okay.
Yes, the Steelers, Mike. Interesting. We had two really tough weeks for the Steelers. They lost a couple of games, but they came back. They had a pretty good win of the Raiders, 32-13. Sunday Night Football, they're going to be back on.
Yeah.
They host the Jets.
Yeah.
It's a reconstituted Jets team. Jets just traded for Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
And I heard an interview with Aaron Rodgers this week. Devontae's he's good. They're putting him in the offense right away. They're not waiting a couple weeks for
Right.
him. And the Steelers have some interesting stuff going on. Russell Wilson is actually cleared to play. Some questions saying who are they going to start? Looks like they're starting Russell Wilson. Mike, I'll start out. I like Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields did a pretty good job. A little concerned about the Raiders. I know they scored 32 points. A lot of times the defense really set them up. I mean, way in Raiders territory. Fields missed some passes. So here's my question. If you look at Steelers Twitter, there's a big argument. Is it Justin Fields? Is it Russell Wilson? Good arguments on both sides of the table. I would say, why not have the best of the both worlds? I think Russell Wilson is a better passer. I still think he had pretty decent last year with Denver in a really tough situation.
Yeah.
I think Justin Fields has had some running touchdowns. He's looked good in the red zone. Let's bring back the two-headed option. Let's have Justin Fields be the red zone quarterback once you get inside the 20, maybe on a third and short or whatever the case might be. I think we can maximize what's happening with the Steelers. I don't think it has to be one or the other. Tomlin's keeping it coy. He hasn't really said exactly what he's doing, but I think that's a good option. I don't think we have to have just one or just the other. I think we can kind of mix and match a little bit. What do you think?
Could be. Who knows? I know Mike Tomlin's a good coach, and I think he's, he's open-minded. Where if it wasn't working with one, he'd go with the other. He's all about getting a W, and with that good defense the Steelers have, I mean, they're going to be in every game. So, I think if you're a Steeler fan, you got to feel pretty good about how things are going. I mean, it's going to come down to the Steelers and the Ravens. I mean, I think the Bengals are too far out. The Ravens might be able to make, or not the Ravens, but the Bengals might be able to kind of get back in this thing. But I still think at the end of the day, it's going to come down to the Ravens and the Steelers, and the Browns are, that season's done before it starts. But I really think it'll come down to those two. So.
Yeah, and the Ravens are a way different team this year, and they
got a lot of newcomers on that team.
Yeah, their offense still looks pretty good. Defense has been rough at spots. We'll see what happens with the Ravens.
Yeah.
Steelers, if they could kind of refine stuff, there was some anger this week. Steelers still need that second receiver, and there was some hope that might be Devontae Adams. I'll be honest with you, he really wanted to play with a guy he played with before.
Yeah.
He played with Aaron Rodgers for a long time. There's some talk that he was interested potentially in the Saints. The Steelers could have pulled off the trade still, but it would have been a rental. You've had to give up a second or third round pick for 10 weeks of Devontae Adams. And I figured, let's pass on that. But I think for the Steelers, they're on the precipice of doing some really good things. I'd like to see them make an upgrade. Maybe it's not as impressive as Devontae Adams, but they're still sniffing around some receivers. I know if the Jets, Mike Williams, he played for the Buccaneers before, and he got signed by the Jets. And he looks to be the odd man out because you bring in Devontae Adams, and now there's too many receivers in the room. So maybe that could be a trade option. I don't think they need a top-of-line receiver. They just need that second guy because they're not really throwing it to anybody else on the receivers. It's George Pickens or nothing else. Defense still looks good. Again, I'm okay with them moving to Russell Wilson. I just want to still see them utilize Justin Fields. He's a weapon for him, and you can't just leave him on the bench. So I'm feeling okay about the Steelers. I know I'm usually the sourpuss, and you're probably like, the Browns are 1-5. Why are you complaining about 4-2? I just think they're on the precipice of doing some good things. Yeah. And I really look at the AFC. The Ravens – Man, the Ravens with Derrick Henry look to be a challenge. And I know the Ravens always struggle in the playoffs. But, other than the Ravens, I look at the Chiefs. They're good. I don't think they're invincible. I mean, I think there could be an opening in the AFC, Mike. I mean, Yeah, Ravens look good, Chiefs look good, but I don't see anybody in the AFC that's kind of running away with stuff. You know what I mean?
You know, the thing about the Chiefs is they did this last year too. They kind of stumble and bumble their way to wins in the regular season, and then they find another level in the playoffs. So I
Right.
still think they'll be a major player when it's all said and done. But getting back to the Steelers' opponent this week, Chris, the Jets. How are they going to be under a new head coach? Because they jettisoned Robert Sella, and I'll be anxious to see moving forward if how they define if there's going to be big changes with the offense, with the defense, or how that's going to work out.
Well, they played one game. They had
Yeah,
that Monday night game
right.
against the Bills,
Yep.
and it was funny. Bills pulled out the win at the end, but it was funny. You saw both teams make big changes after the game.
Yeah.
Jets traded for Devontae Adams. The Bills traded for Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like I think both the Jets and Bills looked pretty good, but I think they were both like, oh, we have to make changes.
Right.
And if you look at teams in the AFC, that could be a problem. The Bills, I know the Bills are kind of looking for receiver help because they lost Stephon Diggs and they really haven't gotten that bounce back yet. It'll be interesting to see, does Cooper make the Bills a lot better team? I don't know.
Yeah, I think he'll flourish in Buffalo because they have a vertical passing game, and he's one of the best route runners in the NFL, and I think that's a good situation for him. He's going to a team, man. They can throw it downfield. So I think Buffalo's gonna. I think they're the clear winner from that trade. I really do.
Yeah, and the Bills, that could be that missing piece. I mean, the Bills were playing pretty good, but there was kind of like that missing piece. And and again, that's where I'm at with the Steelers. I mean, I think the Steelers are a good team.
Yep.
I think, if you could get some receiver help, maybe they take that step that the Bills took this week. So
right. I said this before the season, I think they're definitely one of the top 5 teams. I think depending on how things go here, things shake out well. I think they can be a legitimate Super Bowl contender, depending on, a couple of question marks, but there's smaller question marks that need to be answered. And I think if they are, they might be right there.
We talked about this with the Browns. It was interesting for both the Browns and Steelers. The beginning of the year was like, hey, here's some games you need to win if you're getting the right level. Yeah. Steelers are 4-2. I mean, that Colts and Cowboys losses had me scratching my heads, but they won 4 of the games they needed to win. Yeah. Here's what I'm thinking: if for me to make that Super Bowl logic, okay, you're at home against the Jets this week, and then you have a Sunday. Is it Sunday night game? Yeah, I believe so. Against the Giants next week. Mm-hmm. Oh no, Monday Night Football against the Giants next week. Yeah. I would say they can get to that level if they can get past the Jets and Giants. Because if they do that, now you're 6-2. You're in good shape. Yep. And you talked about the season getting tough. They have their bye, which is nice. You can rest up. But then you're at Washington, and as the Browns know, Washington's a whole different animal than they were last year. So that's going to be a really good game.
It goes to show you when you got a quarterback, especially a dual threat quarterback, makes it
Well, that Washington game at the beginning of the year, I would say, oh, that's a game the Steelers could win. Now it's going to be, wow, it's going to be a battle. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Yeah. And then the Steelers have their first game, if I remember right, I think it's at Pittsburgh against Baltimore after that. So they got 2 really good games after the bye.
Oh, yeah.
So it should be good. I'm thinking Steelers by 3. Does that sound right, if you had to guess?
Yeah, I think that's good, yeah.
I think the Jets will keep it competitive, and I know the Jets have had their struggles. I think with Devontae Adams, they're a better team. I wouldn't call them a playoff team, but I think they'll look better than they did in the past. So,
yep.
All right. Well, hey, thanks again, Mike. We're going to be back in a second. We're going to talk Brown Stadium issues. Here, we'll be right back.